Welcome to today's Q&A session. It's getting really close to the exam, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. Just a couple housekeeping items. You guys can't see it, but I have a whole bunch of windows where I need to open it up and admit people and control the chat and everything. So if I'm like randomly pressing buttons everywhere, that's what I'm doing. I'm opening up all these other windows to deal with the Zoom chat and Zoom admission. This is meant to be a very casual and fun session. If you do have a question, feel free to ask it at any time. I will go through the chat and make sure we answer all the questions. Just a couple of things that I like to begin with each of these Q&A sessions. I've like three tips. One is that it's really important to keep calm during the exam. If you find that you're speeding up, if you're kind of rushing through your questions, try to slow down, take 7 deep breaths, because 7 is the target A1C, just to calm yourself down. It's really important to read the question slowly and carefully. That's why I put all those like not questions in my practice exams to force people to slow down and read the question. Two is that on the exam, there will be lots of pilot questions. And so pilot questions are just questions that they're testing for next year. But even if you answer correctly, they're not worth any marks. So if you get stuck on a question, it's really important that you don't spend a lot of time on it. Just mark it for review and go on to the next question. That's really important because even if you spend a lot of time answering a pilot question correctly, you still get exactly 0 marks for it. Lastly, this is a virtual exam, and there's kind of like pros and cons to having it virtual. But if it is, since it is a virtual exam, you might as well try to make it as comfortable for yourself as possible. I'm starting to get some feedback. Can everyone mute themselves? I don't know who's. Uh, Okay. Yeah, if everyone could just keep themselves muted. I'm getting some feedback from my speaker. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so try to make it as comfortable for yourself as possible. Like if you enjoy the scent of lavender or something like that, it's totally okay to have a lavender infuser. If you're a spiritual or religious person, you can have a figurine of a religious figure or spiritual figure around just to help keep yourself calm, or a picture of of your family or a vacation or something like that. Try to make it comfortable for yourself. You might as well take advantage that you can write it at home. So in terms of questions for today, no one sent any questions, so I'll immediately start answering some questions in the chat. But I did get this from someone who wrote the exam today. And so, she ran into a lot of trouble because apparently there's some sort of software that you need to download when you download Top Hat. Anyway, so she couldn't get it working on her IT laptop. And, because, I've worked for Alberta Health Services, they're extremely strict about what you can and can't download. And so, she eventually had to use her own personal laptop to do it. So just an FYI, this is something that you might run into. Yeah. Okay, so here, let's look at the chat. One second here. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm at Devani's question. Not quite familiar with insulin pumps. Is it common practice for someone to reduce basal rate by 90 to 100%? Can you please go over basal versus bolus rate for insulin pumps from an exam perspective? So I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. You're gonna have to give me a lot more detail of that, Devani. Can you unmute and I don't understand your question.
Oh, sorry, Yasmin. So there were some questions about like people reducing their basal rate like before going to like intense workout. And I'm not quite sure if like a person could like completely turn it off by 100% if they're going for like a high intensity workout for like extended period of time. And what does it look like? And like what is the difference between basal versus bolus rate?
Sure. Okay, I get it. Okay. So yes, for kind of intense workouts, you can completely suspend insulin secretion. I don't have my pump with me to right now. But you can even like if say you're going swimming, you can actually unhook it from the infusion set so that you get zero units per 0 units per infusion. And so, yes, if you're doing an intense workout, if you're going swimming, you can totally suspend basal basal infusion. For the bolus rate, typically a bolus is done right away. So remember that with insulin pumps, they only use rapid acting insulin. And so typically for a bolus, now there's a couple ways you can do this. For a bolus, typically, if let's say you do 10 units bolus, it just injects the 10 bolus units right away. But there are things like square wave boluses or delayed boluses that the more newer pumps can do. And with those, like let's say you're having a really, really high fat meal where the sugar is coming up very slowly, or let's say a very, very low glycemic index meal or something like that, or you plan to it's like a long wedding meal or something like that where you plan to be eating over a long period of time, you can adjust that so that it gives like say 50% of that 10 units right now and then 5 units over like an hour or two. I don't think the exam will get that detailed. That's kind of for more insulin pump trainers and stuff like that. But that is an option with the newer, even with the older insulin pumps, you could still do those square wave boluses. But yeah, so I hope does that answer your question, Devani?
Yep, no, that's very helpful. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, so now I'm going down the chat. I'm at Doris at 503. Is there cardiorenal no? So unfortunately, Ribellicis, which is the oral semaglutide Doris, it didn't show cardiac benefit or renal benefit. So it's kind of unfortunate. So that's kind of why I don't really use it. Like, it's kind of like, why would I give patients a crappier version of Ozempic? Most people are comfortable with injections nowadays. For Monjaro, I believe their studies are still coming out. They're not in guidelines yet, so I don't. I'm assuming that because it didn't make it into the guidelines, that it's not going to be on the test, Doris. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Feel free to unmute if you didn't. Uh, I emailed them about that, and they said I could use it for my browser. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, sorry. I'm at North Skies Consulting. Sorry. You emailed me two questions. Sorry, I didn't see that. I'm just looking at my phone now. Do you have your question? The
Hi,
question. Hi.
it's me, Linda Gilmore Kessler.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
I
When
have
did you
one
email
question.
that?
This afternoon or
Oh,
this
sorry.
morning.
I haven't been able. I've been just going through the morning questions and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah, it might have been after that.
Okay.
I just was wondering, can you clarify the use of SLGT2s and GLP-1s in type 1 and how we would answer questions regarding that?
Sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
I see that chapter 41 says they can be used as adjunctive therapy, but other exam questions say not to.
So yeah, I will here. There's a bit of a that's a good discussion thing. We talked a little bit here. I'll show you every bit of it. Give me 1 second. So we talked about it a little bit here. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple things. Here. So in the guidelines, it does talk about the benefits of GLP-1s and SGLTs for people of type 1. However, there is a part in the guidelines where they say we do not strongly recommend this. And so the guidelines are not, the guidelines are saying that there's evidence for it, but they themselves do not have enough confidence to strongly recommend it. And so if you look at here, let me show you. If you look at the monographs for medications, here's a black box warning. So that's as serious as you can get. And let me see here. Where is it? Invokana is not indicated and should not be used in patients with type 1 diabetes. So yes, the guidelines do say that there is some evidence for it. And here, let me look at the exact page number of that thing too. 1 second. Here. And let me bring this up. Where does it say? It's therefore not possible to make a strong treatment recommendation. So yes, there is some evidence that these medications could be beneficial in type 1. However, it's in the black box warning that it is not to be used in people with type 1. Also, in talking to most of the endocrinologists I work with, they actually shy away from this. They do not prescribe SGLT2s or GLP-1s in type 1s. Some of them absolutely do not do it. Some of them have one or two patients where they're kind of experimenting with it. So it's a bit muddled. Like, yes, there is some evidence for it, but if you're looking at it as a prescriber like me, like there's a black box warning that I cannot do it. And I want to go through my career without being sued. And so the bottom line is that I wouldn't recommend it. And because the guidelines talk about some benefits, but they do not have confidence in this, I would suggest that you do not recommend it either, is my legal opinion on that. Does that answer your question, Linda?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And sorry, what was your other question?
My other question, on your storage cheat sheet that you made us, why can Ozempic be stored for 8 weeks, but Wegovy's only 4 weeks if they're the same med? Is that
Okay.
just
Nope, that's a good, and I actually corrected that right now because there's two. So it depends on the pen. Give
okay?
me 1 second. It depends on the pen is a short answer, but I did make a bit of a mistake. There's the single-use pens, which are 28 days, and then the multi-use pens are or four.
Okay.
Yeah. So but you're absolutely right. That is confusing, Linda. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hope that answers your
Okay.
questions,
Yep.
Linda.
Good. Yep. Thank you.
Perfect. And if you have others, just feel free to unmute if that's not clear. Okay, 1 second. So Susan Smith, it was my understanding that you can only suspend basal infusion for up to 45 minutes. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if that's a max. I haven't heard of that one. I'm also not an insulin pump trainer, so that might be true, but for sure you can suspend insulin infusion for a while. I don't know if 45 minutes is the max, but I don't think the exam would be that detailed. Okay, perfect. And Dominique says you can do it from your browser, which is good. Yeah, that was just so stressful. Like when that, I was felt so bad for the lady who emailed me. Like you're about to write this stressful exam. It took her an hour and a half to get the browser working.
So that's really good to know. So you can't do it just from, like, you have to actually have it downloaded on your computer, correct?
I don't know for sure. I'm not writing this year.
It sounds like that's the case.
Dominique said
That's
that you could use it from the browser, so maybe just the browser needs to download something. I don't know
Hi,
about that
it's
part.
Dominique. Can I
Hello.
clarify?
Yes, go ahead,
yes,
please.
please.
Perfect. So I emailed them because I wasn't able to find a copy of Google Meet to put onto my computer. And when I did a lot of digging, they have a special kind of format that doesn't allow it to go onto a desktop, they said. So I practiced at home, and my husband sent me a Google Meet invitation to my internet browser, and I was able to open that. So because they said it has to be on your computer, I emailed CDECB about whether that was going to be okay if I open it from my browser, and they said yes. However, Now that I see this email, now I'm a big ball of stress again. So I'll be sending them an email tonight to just clarify because I don't want to go through that whole stress on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Dominique. Because
you're welcome.
I tried to get it from my work computer and I can't, like I need authority to get
Right,
Google Meet. And
right.
it's that computer that I was using for the exam, and I'm able to just open it from a browser. So I had kind of anticipated that that would be okay. And then I just read that. I was like, oh no, that would be so stressful.
I know, and that is my situation. I have a work computer at home, which is a desktop that I need to carry somewhere else to write my exam.
Oh
But
no.
anyway, yeah, I'm just going to email them and say, I heard about this problem. I need a lot of assurances because I don't want to go through that either.
Okay, I'll do
Yeah,
the same.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
you're
No
welcome.
problem. Okay. So now I'm at 507 in the chat. Thanks for letting us know. Beatrice, the Soul Trial. Okay, I haven't read that one yet. But let me write that down. It's not in the guideline, so therefore I don't think it'll show up on the exam. Combination of SGLT2 and GLP-1, does this provide additive benefit? This was asked to Dr. Peterson. I don't think they've done a direct trial on this, but because the mechanism of action is different, they believe it does. I think that was Dr. Peterson's answer. Um, but does anyone else remember what Dr. Peterson said? I believe that's what she said. But yeah, I don't remember her exact answer, unfortunately.
I feel like it was actually a no, but I can't remember the rationale for it. And I could be wrong. My brain is full of numbers now.
Yeah, this is this is
Mhm.
the wrong time to ask me to remember something.
Yeah,
Totally.
Esmond,
Yeah.
on your practice exam, I think one of the question asked if the SGL2 and the GLP-1A would have a additive CV benefit, and I think
Hmm.
the answer was no.
Okay.
Yeah, on your practice exam number 3. I forget what question it was.
Okay. I
Yeah.
will take a look at that. I'm surprised I would say that because I believe the answer is we don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
or something that we don't know. It's not proven yet.
yeah,
It didn't
that
say no. Oh, yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so we don't
yeah,
know is kind of the answer. Like,
yeah.
yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, Doris.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay. And then Mara, can we update software on laptop? I don't know about that part. I think she said yes, but not published trials. That would make sense. It's probably like I don't think we know for sure yet, but it's different mechanisms of action. So the idea is probably yes, but we don't have anything published that says for sure yes. Thanks, Linda. Okay, so that's the end of the questions. Typically, as we get closer to exam, these sessions get shorter and shorter. But is there anything that, yeah, if you want to ask a question, feel free. Oh, here we go. Um, Susan Smith, in the insulin start and titration guidelines, it states insulin should not be tried if the patient experiences 2 episodes of hypo in a week or 1 episode of nocturnal hypo. However, in this situation, should we not be reducing insulin dose? Um, yeah, like if they're experiencing hypos, I would definitely be reducing the insulin dose. And that would be my suggestion for real life practice too. Like if you have patients experiencing lows, like the order in which you kind of do the insulin titration is treat lows first, then increase basal for fasting, then increase bolus for postprandials. It's kind of like the order of it. So if lows are there, you deal with that first beyond everything else. Yeah, but thanks for bringing that up, Susan.
Thank you. That's what I thought as well. I just wasn't sure because it didn't explicitly state that.
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of like a real life practice thing. also remember to, I think in the hypo chapter I talk about the Dex 4, they had a shortage last year, but the shortage is over, so you can order samples and you can just the little samples they give you, it's a single pack of 4 Dex 4 tablets. It contains a coupon that's like 50 cents off of the next Dex 4 they buy. So they're really nice to give to patients just to, keep one in their purse, have it just in case you go low. And if you do have a low, use the coupon and buy some more Dex 4. Okay. Any other questions? What time is
Hi.
it?
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried now about that software thing. That's stressing me out now.
Yeah, just it's my sorry, and I'll get to you, Glenn, next. I would My takeaway from that is just to use your personal computer because you can control the downloads and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I'm not writing this year, so you'll have to ask them for details. Okay. Sorry, Glenn. Please go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no worries. So I was curious if everyone had received the email from the examining board where we were told we had to test our computers by May 15th because I was paranoid too. But my understanding is we use the Google Meet app on our phones, which are going to be running constantly, and then Google Meet on our laptops or other device. Um, I have a Gmail account, so it's no big deal. I can log into Google Meet right from the Gmail platform. I was just curious what other I had no apprehensions about the software until now, but the testing I did worked and testing the platform with the questions and the note and all that stuff. I'm just wondering if others have or did have people missed some of that testing that was supposed to happen before the 15th?
Hi, Glenn. This is Tuani. I think I'm in the same boat as you. I do have Gmail, like Google account, so I don't think for someone who has Gmail account, they would need to download that Google Meet. And then, of course, your phone, if you don't have Gmail app, you would need to download that app. And I did my test like for computer for that trial, and it went through fine. So I don't think I am concerned. But when I did my first exam 5 years ago, I ran into a problem where my computer was tested for the trial part, and then on the day of the exam, it did not work. And then I had to get like I contact not to panic anybody, but I had to contact them, and then they're like, if you can get a new laptop, that's fine. Otherwise, wait until next year. So my friend was kind enough to bring me a new laptop. And then I was told that they would give me grace period for the time that I had missed in arranging the computer, and then I wasn't. The exam, they locked me out like after like 2 hours and 25 minutes. So I still like never could review my question that I wanted to. And I passed somehow. I don't know how, but I was in total disaster, stressful
Hmm.
2.5 hours. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed for this year.
Okay. Sorry, I have nothing to like when I wrote it last, it was just Top Hat and they would just uh the proctor would be just viewing me through my camera. So, if I had to like go to the washroom, I'd have to like wave to them and say, "Hey, I would like to go to the washroom" and stuff like that. Um yeah, so there's just a small tip, there is a proctor watching you. So don't pick your nose or something like that or there is someone watching you throughout that thing.
Too bad you can't meet with them the day before just to go over all of that stuff to make sure that everything's all set up and working on their end and your end, and then you just feel so much better about the next day. I mean, I did all the pre-test too and everything worked, but now hearing that, I'm like, oh no, I think I'm gonna have to get a different computer. So it's just too bad you couldn't do that with them the day before.
Yeah. So something you could mention that in the post-exam survey, like, hey, it would
Mm-hmm.
be great to have something to show that everything's working to avoid all these issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually did email them about the Google Meet on the computer, right? And they actually told me the web browser should work. But looking at this lady's email, like that's that doesn't look very good.
Yeah, sorry to have nothing more comforting to add, but
Maybe I should
I
have done it in person.
yeah, so I guess there's some pros to doing it in person, but um yeah. In terms of what to download, I'm not I'm assuming you still have to download Top Hat or something like that, right? I'm not writing this year. I believe you can join earlier to check everything. Um, you do need to do like the room scan and stuff like that. The room scan involves you like moving your computer around, showing that you don't have
I
like,
don't think they're using Top Hat this year.
oh, is that it? Not it? Oh,
No, it's
okay.
not Top Hat anymore. They hired somebody else.
Oh, maybe that's why this thing is so different. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
when I wrote last time, it was with Top Hat, and what we had to do was we had to like rotate our camera around to show that I didn't have any answers or cheat sheets around, and do a scan of like my ID and stuff like that. So that stuff I believe you still have to do. Okay, here's some interesting.
I emailed them about this, and I just copy and pasted the response that I got from the CDE
Okay,
folks.
perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you, Susan.
no problem.
So we WeBlock or WebBlock. This is see, it's an administration rights thing. Like if you're using a work computer, like Alberta Health Services will not let me do anything. So I would use a personal computer. The lockdown browser is, and you can install it ahead of time. You However, if the browser software or your computer software, you need to delete the old version and reinstall the new version. Okay. You would need admin rights. This is the main. We highly suggest you have it. Yeah, so the take-home message is use a personal computer and you should be okay. Um, because there's no way HS is like your health authority is not going to disable these firewalls and antiviruses for you. It's not easy to do. Okay, so there's the web block
Sorry,
stuff.
just to share what I did. I had my IT folks download that WeBlock for me yesterday onto
Hmm.
my work computer, and they've given me like a temporary like admin rights if I need it.
Oh, okay. That's nice of them.
Just like yeah, yeah. So I don't know if that's an option for anyone else. Just my personal computer, I don't trust it. It's really
Oh,
old.
okay.
So I'm really banking on using my work computer for this one.
Okay. Um, for anyone in Alberta, the bureaucratic Alberta Health Services is, I don't think they're going to let that fly. They would never give me admin passwords. So yeah, if you can use your personal one, that's what I would suggest. If not, then see what your employer can do. Okay. So if there's an exam, do we need you to print out your I don't think so. Again, I'm not writing the exam this year. I believe you only need to do the room scan and your ID. Okay, that's great, Glenn. I'm glad that downloaded okay. Okay. Well, I have tomorrow off, so if you do have further questions, please feel free to put it in the exam forum. I do have another Q&A next tomorrow. Typically, that one is attended by the least people, but if you do have a question that you want me to explain in person, I'm more than happy to do that. Or if you have a question in the exam forum, or just email me, feel free to go ahead. I hope this technical thing didn't panic you guys too much. Again, try to just keep calm for the exam, and I wish you guys the best of luck. All right. Yes, that's attitude, Susan. We've got this. You've got this. You've got this. That's the attitude to have. Statistically speaking, you do got this. Like most people pass the exam. So from a statistical standpoint, you have got this. Okay. All right. So I'll stop this. I'll upload this onto YouTube, and then we'll get going. All right. Have a great night, everyone.